Well, Dustin Poirier is no stranger to a UFC title fight. He won interim gold by defeating then featherweight champ Max Holloway in 2019. Tried to unify them against the legend Khabib Nurmagomedov, lost by submission. And then in 2021, got back there again, lost to Charles Oliveira by submission in a very entertaining fight. This is a sport in which you can't say, like, hey, in any absolutes, is this his last chance? You can't really say that. This sport is littered with all kinds of things that we didn't foresee coming. But he has said it is his last shot. Do you believe it is his last shot that we see on Saturday?
Yes, I think that it is. But there is something about this discussion that is making people forget history. And I'm not talking about ancient events. I'm talking about in the last 12 months, Dustin fought for a championship. It was a BMF, but it was a feature match. It was 5 rounds. He then had a match that turned out to be a #1 contenders match. And now he's right here in the world title fight where he belongs. And I only bring that because when Dustin talks about, I'm not going to be back in this spot and I'm older and it's a different era with Islam. And so whether I beat him or I don't, this is a goodbye. It sounds as though he doesn't quite belong here. And I'm just here to correct you. That's not what he's saying. That would be a misinterpretation. And a lot of people have forgot. But this is not a short notice fight. And 5-round fights is nothing new for the Diamond.
Well, I think when he says that this is it for him and he's not going to climb his way back up, it's not a question of can he. Does he want to? I think that he's got a whole nother lifetime ahead of him. He has a lot of things outside of this. Talked about wanting to be a dad and a husband and have a schedule. All those things are hard to do when you're a championship contender in the UFC. So there's a part of me that win, lose, or draw, I'm really excited for Dustin to close this chapter of his life because he seems excited about it.
Like you guys said, he has stated this will be his last time. And I love the phrase paid in full, right? Because what exactly is being paid in full here, right? Let's talk about that. There is a debt that you incur with the universe when you say, I want to be the best in the world. There's a debt you incur, and the journey is how you pay it back in blood and sweat and tears, and for many people, lost relationships, missing your kids' sports games, whatever it is. Dustin Poirier has paid his debt in full. He doesn't owe anything left to this journey. There's a capstone potentially, but he owes nothing left. He has beaten 5 undisputed champions in his path. The guy has done it all except one thing.
God, when you listen to Laura describe it that way, it's hard not to want to see Dustin Poirier finish his story here on Saturday. Anthony, he has had an incredible career, but, we are held sometimes, especially in this industry, to what did you do in the very biggest moments? If he does not get it done on Saturday, what does that do to Dustin Poirier's legacy? I don't think that it does anything to his legacy. I think that the way that he fought, the things that he gave us, the moments that he gave us, I think he'll be the one that will have a problem with it. He'll have one. He has to be the one that has to sleep with that, and he's got to live with the fact that if he loses, he'll never win an undisputed title. I think the rest of us as consumers of his product and people that watch his journey and guys like me who make that same walk but want to be like him, to us it doesn't matter whether he wins or not. It's how we feel about him. It's really about how he feels about himself.
I think if he does not come away with a win, it won't change anything for the fans. I think for the fans, it's largely academic. I mean, I think for him, it would be cathartic. For us, I don't know that it changes how we talk about him. 1,000 years from now, when you open the history books of this was the history of the UFC, it's going to say Dustin Poirier was one of the best lightweights to ever do it. He fought in the hardest division. He fought all the hardest guys. He laid it out there every single time. He gave it all to us, and he held nothing back the entire time. Close the book.
Yep, there is no question that he will be remembered as one of the greatest lightweights of all time. Islam Makhachev, on the other hand, he's trying to be remembered as the greatest lightweight of all time, and he is building quite a resume. You see it there, a 12-fight win streak, 3 title fight wins. He's got a 61% significant strike accuracy. Tough to take this guy down, as it is with all those Dagestani wrestlers. 91% of the time, it does not come up your way. Islam Makhachev has been a pleasure to watch, and then, who was also a pleasure to watch? Khabib Nurmagomedov, who was his mentor, and he will be actually in the corner on Saturday. How excited are you to see that, Joe?
Well, and this is a common opponent. It's a big deal. Islam and Khabib are not looking to battle each other for legacy. They both hope the best for the other, and that's real. That's not just words. But I will share with you, the media keep doing it. We keep doing it. We keep on having this debate, and having common opponents does matter. It's not enough for Islam to go out and defeat this gentleman in Dustin Poirier. He's got to defeat him faster than Khabib did, at least if he wants to captivate the headlines come Monday.
And it's a big deal to have Khabib in his corner, not just because they both are fighting Dustin Poirier. It's a big deal because on fight night, Dustin Poirier has to look across that octagon and not just make contact with Islam Makhachev. He's got to look right over Islam's shoulder and see the man who took this belt away from him, the opportunity for the belt away from him the first time. That's a big deal. He's got to fight that ghost.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And for me, I look at it another way in terms of like the help that Khabib was going to give him. When I'm in trouble and things aren't going my way and I'm hurt or I'm tired or like things are not going my way, I always look directly to Scott Morton, who's been in my corner for 56 of the 57 professional fights I have, not because I need advice. I need him to help me. I have no more answers. I'm stuck. I'm tired. I need you to tell me what I need to do because my brain isn't working right now. Khabib is no better of a person for Islam to look to because that's what he's molded his entire career after. He's literally the glue to Islam Makhachev.
Yeah, quite an intimidating thing for Dustin Poirier to, like you said, Laura, look across at the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And, oh, by the way, the old #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world is right behind him. You know, Islam, when you're at the top, you're going to be fighting great fighters. He's just coming off of 2 fights with Alexander Volkanovski. But some are saying, you look at Dustin, and he's a full-size lightweight. He's got the finishing ability, that maybe he is the toughest test. What do you say, Laura? Is Dustin Poirier the toughest test of Islam's career on Saturday?
On paper, he is not. He simply isn't. You know, we have seen Dustin struggle with strong grapplers on more than one occasion. So on paper, he is not. However, fights are not fought on paper. And paper doesn't account for heart. It doesn't account for storyline. So listen, you have to be a complete fighter, like a well-prepared Alexander Volkanovski was, to really give Islam Makhachev problems.
Well, I think me and Laura are going to disagree here. I think that Dustin Poirier is the most dangerous fighter Islam has ever fought, just in his ways to finish, the power in his hands, his craftiness and his experience. I think Volkanovski is the most skilled, with the most diverse set of skill sets, I guess. But he's small. He's small for 145, so he's definitely small at lightweight. I think that Dustin Poirier brings more problems than anyone Islam's been across from.
And Dustin Poirier being the oldest opponent and Dustin Poirier being the lowest ranked opponent for Islam, I think adds to his danger. When you have nothing to lose, not only does that help Dustin, it hurts Islam. When Islam has all these expectations, like, what can I do to get a little credit around here?